consider Ms. Reed's anemia and multiple sclerosis condition when you conducted the alcohol test on January 29th, 2022?
No, I have not.
No,
Of course
we
not.
don't. No.
Forensic tests require the testing of whole blood for the presence of alcohol, right?
Correct.
Can you briefly, just for the jury, describe sort of the difference?
Mama DUI guy is so proud. Mama DUI guy is so proud.
But I want to go back to the point where
Oh my God.
our laboratory.
No.
Our
Answer,
testing
no.
is not
Don't
based-
let
it's
him.
not-
Don't let him
finish his answer.
It's
No.
not.
It is just as good for general purposes. It is not just as good for forensic purposes. You liar! Why do you have to be the smartest jerk in the room? Just answer the question. The answer is yes. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Buckle Up, It's the Law. Folks, today we are going to continue with Jerry Faller, an expert, and we're going to compare his testimony and his lies and inconsistencies from trial number 1 to trial number 2. Now stick around, folks, because we are going to continue with Jennifer McCabe, if we haven't done her already. And we're going to continue with the old trials of Brian Albert and Trooper Paul. Those are premiering as we speak. Oh my God, folks, those are so juicy. I'm trying to get as much content to you guys as possible. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because you're going to get 1 p.m. Eastern. You're going to get a short. 4 p.m. Eastern, you're going to get a new video from trial number 2. 7 p.m. Eastern, you're going to get a new video from trial number 1. Oh, I am just a gift that keeps on giving. Let's go, folks. Jerry Faller.
You testified that, hospitals are not in the legal business of calculating BACs. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
And you'd agree that there are differences between screening tests that are conducted at hospitals and forensic tests that are done in labs, correct?
Correct.
And the purpose of testing in sort of a clinical setting at a hospital is to assist in the quick diagnosis and treatment of a patient. Is that right?
Yes, we correct.
And so your priorities may be different than those if you're at a forensic lab where the goal is to ensure accuracy and reliability at all costs, correct?
I don't agree. Not correct.
No? Really?
Well, hospitals use serum tests to screen for the presence of alcohol.
Uh-huh.
Correct?
Correct.
And you'd agree that serum testing does
Oh,
not...
this is what, when I was visiting Canton, when I was at the trial last year, this is what I told Alan Jackson. I remember this. Oh, that takes me back. It was a good day. It was a really good day to as a master DUI practitioner myself, which again, I don't do exclusively DUIs. For those of you who know, 1-844-774-HURT. We obviously do a lot of personal injury cases all over the country. But I'll probably always represent people in criminal and DUI cases. And I have learned over the years that in hospitals, they don't take the same type of blood, basically, in layman's terms. They don't take the same type of blood as they do when they draw your blood at the jail. And you're like, what do you mean they don't take the same blood? Well, the sample is the same, but the way that they test it is different. The Kentucky State Police or the Massachusetts State Police Laboratory is different from the way that the hospital is going to be testing for blood. So that's what Ms. Little is going to be extracting out of Faller right now. Remember him from the first trial, and I completely forgot that this is the guy. So Brennan is really taking his witnesses completely out of order. He's doing like a firefighter, and then a McCabe, and then an expert, and then back to a firefighter, and then back to another like McAlbert, and then this, and then that. I mean, he's just all over the place. I don't know if he's trying to confuse the jury, if he has a plan. I don't think he has a plan. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. What you're about to hear was 100% verified. Ask your friends, truly. My assistance. I assisted in this trial with this witness. I gave legal advice. And that was a lot of fun, and I'll never forget it.
Not measure alcohol directly, but it actually measures the presence of NADH.
Correct.
And NADH is the byproduct that's created when the body breaks down alcohol.
Correct.
And the reason hospitals use a serum test rather than a whole blood test is because it's quick and efficient, and you can get test results within 20-ish minutes. Does that sound about right?
Correct.
And you'd agree that NADH, which is what serum essentially tests for, can also be elevated by factors other than alcohol in the blood.
I'm not aware of that.
Are you familiar with any medical literature that has found that NADH is created when the body has elevated either lactate or LDH in the system?
Correct. There are some issues, some in our policy. There are some factors that can lead to falsely elevated or falsely lowered serum alcohol. One is lactic acid or LDH.
Ringer's lactate.
Another one is Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, which is a hematological problem, and other things that can interfere with not just any tests, or lipids, high levels of lipids, or hemolysis, or high levels of bilirubin. But our machines are very sophisticated now. If there are any elevations of, let's say, hemolysis or lipids or bilirubin, the Roche machines will detect that and flag it as a possible interference, or it won't even let us result it.
That's a lie, by the way. Those machines are extremely fallible, and they make mistakes, and they fail to detect things all the time. All the time. And he knows it. He's just trying to make it seem like, our machines are good. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro. No, I don't trust you, bro.
Test. With any test, there can be interferences, and I'm sure there can be interferences with the forensic way of testing as well.
Other causes of high levels of LDH and therefore NADH also include things like trauma, muscle weakness and loss of muscle tissue, or abnormal tissue formation. Is that
Symptoms
correct?
of MS.
Have you read studies about that?
I haven't read those studies, no.
Which was what Karen has.
Would you agree that there may be other sort of medical stressors or things that can't necessarily be captured by the technology, but that could cause error in testing?
I don't understand that question.
Well, you testified that there can be certain errors in testing. That's something that we see throughout all different types of sort of scientific literature, which includes ethanol testing.
Yep.
And there are certain sort of factors that could cause a higher level of NADH that might not necessarily be picked up by the machines that you use at the hospital. Is that correct?
I am not familiar. If there is, it's not not a common phenomenon. Our methodology for doing many tests are based on this NADH enzyme methodology. We've never had issues with it. I read a lot. I haven't read about major.
Just because you haven't read about it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, dog. Like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? You're making yourself look like a dumbass. Like, you really are. You gotta know this stuff. This is part of your field. Let Little educate you. Just listen, Faller. Less talking, more listening. Trust me, she'll teach you something.
Faults of our methodology for testing. Most hospitals, when we actually have to do proficiency testing with any test that we do in a hospital. So 3 times a year we get sent unknown levels of alcohol and 5 samples to be accurate 3 times a year, and we're able to look at not only our results, make sure they're correct, but we're able to look at how what other hospitals are doing across the nation. So when I last looked, and it's held true for over 10 years, maybe 20 years, is that of the, I think, 5,000 hospitals that are testing for alcohol, it's over 80% of them are using our methodology, which is the alcohol dehydrogenase and NADH. And I can't imagine if there were any major issues with alcohol testing using that methodology, why would there wouldn't be that high of
as you
Yep.
testified, the
Yep.
goal in a clinical setting, obviously, is to test for the presence of alcohol, but you're not in the business of trying to sort of calculate BAC, correct?
No, we don't. We
And
don't.
so your goals are to make sure that you're screening for the presence.
Your goal is not to check for BAC. That is correct. That is huge.
Alcohol, but you're not quite as concerned with the precise amount that you might see.
Exactly.
In, for instance, a whole blood test.
Because you're not in the business of prosecution. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I'm going to go back. Listen to this closely. This right here is the meat. This is what I told Jackson and Yannetti when I was in Mass. Listen.
Your goals are to make sure that you're screening for the presence of alcohol, but you're not quite as concerned with the precise amount that you might see in, for instance, a whole blood test in a forensic lab.
Well, we result in terms of in the serum. We know the Massachusetts laws and laws across the nation are based on whole blood, but
Yes.
there are
But-
in the literature formulas that
Formulas.
you can use.
The Widmark
if
formula.
it were a medical legal case that one can use to convert our level.
And
to,
that's a good formula. It does work. I mean, it's not foolproof. Again, there's a range. It's not like you take the number and you immediately, oh, this is the number. You get a range. It's from this to this. So it's not perfect. I've seen my experts do that. And I mean, not my experts that I hired, but like experts for the Commonwealth, for the state, use it in my cases in the past. But what he's saying is not wrong. But where he's wrong is that it's not foolproof. It's not perfect. So we'll see where it goes. I forgot his testimony, so this is like I'm watching it again for the first time.
a blood alcohol. We don't do it in a hospital. We won't report a serum alcohol, and then we don't do the conversion.
We
but,
don't do the
because
conversion.
it's a very rare event that a level will end up in court. But
That's true.
But there are forensic lab people that can provide that formula.
And when you get a test result from a serum test, that information does not establish when alcohol was consumed, correct?
Correct.
And so you're just looking at a specific point in time to say this is what the serum test reflects at 9:08 a.m. on January 29th.
Correct.
No further questions. The Good Samaritan Lab.
Okay, so the TLDR version of this is basically the following. You tested serum blood, but you extracted whole blood, correct? Correct. And you never converted from serum back to whole blood using the formula, correct? No, because these cases rarely end up in court. Thank you very much. That's it. It basically has summarized 7 minutes of testimony in one sentence. All right, now let's look at 2025. Now Little has got him on the ropes again, and this is the comparison of that same testimony. Let's see what he says and does.
Lab is a clinical lab, not a forensic lab. Is that right?
Correct.
And hospitals are not in the legal business of calculating an individual's blood alcohol concentration. Is that right?
I would say 99.9% of the time we are not in the legal business. We are testing alcohol for the diagnosis of alcohol intoxication. But occasionally a case may come, very rare, to a hospital and it ends up being a legal case. It's not common.
And you'd agree that there are differences between screening tests that are conducted at hospitals and forensic tests that are conducted by law enforcement, right?
Yes.
And by the way, he's like one of the only witnesses who hasn't changed, if you notice. Like his face, his hair, I think he's got more hair as opposed to all the other ones who have less hair. Less hair, they have like less hair, more wrinkles, they look more skeletal. Like, what's his name? Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the names right now. It's too early in the morning for this. Like Timothy Nuttall or Kerry Roberts, Nicholas Guarino, Daniel Whitley, Michael Camareno, Jason Becker. They all have gotten like older and more wrinkly and more tired, more bags under their eyes, twitches and fidgets, more like this guy, Gary Faller hasn't changed. To the contrary, I think he looks better than he did a year ago. Why? Because he has no stake in this game. He's just telling the truth about hospital procedure. He doesn't care about the Canton Mafia. He doesn't owe the Mafia anything. They do. The rest do. The rest have their allegiance clear. He doesn't care. He's just there to testify about blood stuff. That's why he hasn't changed. If anything, he's looking better than he did a year ago.
The purpose of testing in a clinical setting is to assist in the diagnosis and treatment of a patient.
Correct.
And physicians need to analyze blood quickly. They need to get the results so they can see what's in a patient's system and then effectively and efficiently treat that patient, right?
Correct.
Whereas in a forensic setting, tests for blood alcohol concentration are designed to produce results that are reliable and credible for use in court, correct?
Correct.
You testified earlier today that your lab is accredited by CAP, which is the College of American Pathologists. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
But CAP is a clinical laboratory accreditation, not a forensic accreditation, right?
We don't have the forensic accreditation for Good Samaritan.
In fact, Good Samaritan has never been investigated or accredited by any forensic accreditation team to ensure that you perform all of your tests with the integrity necessary to support results in court, right?
We've never had the forensic accreditation, but we have very good quality lab results.
Nobody cares. The question was, you have the clinical accreditation, correct? Yes. But you don't have the forensic accreditation. No. And that's important because when it comes to just doing tests for testing purposes, you guys are A-okay. Yes? Yes. But when it comes to using this stuff in court, you guys are... Well, yeah, you guys are, well, you guys are, well, yes.
But you've never been accredited by a forensic accreditation team, right?
No.
And the lab at Good Samaritan has never been accredited by the ANSI, which is the National Accreditation Board known as ANAB. Are you familiar with that organization?
No.
The most reliable method of forensic ethanol testing is called headspace gas chromatography,
yes,
or HSGC. Are you familiar with that process?
Yes.
And HSGC is the method that's used by forensic labs to test.
This is what Massachusetts State Police, Kentucky State Police, and every probably state police headquarters in the nation does in every state. We have HSGCs here in the Kentucky State Police labs. There are 4 of them scattered across the state, and they all use gas chromatography. Some use mass spectroscopy. I forget the actual, like, it's mass spectronomy or mass spectroscopy, but usually it's gas chromatography. And both are viable. One is just a laser, the other is a gas. And the most important thing about this is that that's how it's done in forensics. That's how it's done in criminal cases. And working in the hospital setting, they just test for, making sure that the person is not about to die. They don't need a specific, like, 0.083, 0.012, 0.017. They don't care about that. They want to know, like, is he, like, in the zeros, the ones, or the twos, or the threes, or the fours? That's what they want. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. They only care about that first number for the most part. Because if a person has, like, a 0.35, they may be approaching death, acute alcohol intoxication. They may be going into a coma induced by alcohol. That's for clinical settings. That's all they care about. Rarely, and he said 99.99% of the time, they don't get called into action. They don't get hailed into court. They're not accredited by any forensic entities. This is crucial. This is absolutely essential to show that Karen Reed's blood alcohol concentration number that has been reported since day one is bull. It is completely useless. That's what Little is doing right now in trial number 2. Brilliant work. Absolutely brilliant. I've done this myself in my own trials.
Test for blood alcohol content, right?
Correct.
And that's because forensic tests require the testing of whole blood for the presence of alcohol, right?
Correct.
Can you briefly, just for the jury, describe sort of the difference?
Mama DUI guy is so proud. Mama DUI guy is so proud.
Between a whole blood test and a serum test?
Sure. So whole blood, to put it simply, when you have your blood drawn, you see the fluid coming out all red. That's whole blood. We don't do anything to it. We don't spin it down. We don't centrifuge it. That is whole blood. That is the specimen of choice for forensic blood ethanol testing. Hospitals, on the other hand, our methodology, which is just as good as the forensic headspace.
No, it's not. 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 You liar. No, it's not. It is just as good for general purposes. It is not just as good for forensic purposes. You liar.
Looking at the
You know
serum or
this.
the plasma,
You
so
know
don't-
this.
That's what when I explained that we need to centrifuge it, take the liquid portion off the top. So in the hospital, we tested on the serum or the plasma.
In a forensic lab, they actually require the testing of whole blood, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And HSGC directly measures ethanol in the blood.
Correct.
And this method is designed to be accurate and reliable for forensic purposes for use in legal proceedings, correct?
Correct.
But the testing in this case was performed using the hospital's clinical chemistry machine instead of a forensically defensible method like HSGC.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
And that clinical chemistry machine performs what you just testified to, a serum test.
Serum or plasma.
Serum or plasma. And hospitals use serum or plasma testing because it's actually quicker and more efficient than HSGC, right?
Yes, it's less labor intensive. It's easy to automate, but at the same time, very, very good and very accurate.
But serum testing does not actually measure alcohol directly. Instead, it measures the presence of NADH. Is that right?
Almost.
Well, NADH is a byproduct of alcohol, right?
Correct. I can go into the testing how methodology that we use to explain it if you want me to.
Well, serum testing measures the presence of NADH, correct?
It measures the rate of change of NADH production, so it doesn't actually look at just NADH, and it measures the rate of production, and I can go into more detail on that. Alcohol testing in the lab is correct.
I'll ask you some additional
Okay,
questions
sure.
about NADH and we'll
Sure.
get there. Doctor, the higher the NADH in a patient's system, the higher the serum test result, correct?
That may not be correct, no. It's the rate of change of NADH production based on our methodology. Our test system is a little bit different than the forensic testing system, but it's also very good and
Oh my
very accurate
god!
and
I
honest.
love how he just has to constantly like defend because he knows he's on the losing end of this fight, and he's like, but I know you keep saying that it's not meant for criminal purposes, but it's fine. Like stop trying to discredit my equipment, woman. Like my equipment is fine. Like my equipment is still operational. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I'm getting older, but it still functions. It's you know, it still works. I can still use it. It's fine. Like why do you keep attacking my equipment, bro? Sis, my equipment is great. I have great equipment. I have the best equipment in the land, and this equipment is really good, and I have good equipment, and this equipment is useful, but it's not for forensic purposes. I don't need forenses or forenses. We don't like foreigners in this country, so we're gonna send them all back. And I don't need this stuff right now because I have some millennia things to attend to, and I will see you guys later. Dude, it's not meant for forensic purposes. Stop trying to weasel your way out of it, okay? Please. It's not working. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, comment below. Let's get back to the video.
When we compare our methodology to the headspace, we get the exact same results, and when we compare and with peer laboratory comparisons. But what we do
He's
is
just
what
he's
and I
trying to
think
speak fast. He's not. It's trying to like. Oh, let me just get it out. He's not letting Little even ask a question. What a jerk.
the jury needs to know this. Maybe some of you might understand the chemistry behind it.
Oh! Now he's. Well, you guys are too simple. I'm going to be speaking in some very complicated terms. Now he's condescending. Juries love that when you're being condescended to and talking. Oh, You're such a sweet child. You have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm going to try and explain it to you anyway, using some very complicated words you're not familiar with to make you look stupider than you are. Oh. Classic. Now, this guy, I'm starting to like him less and less. I thought he was more of like a decent guy just trying to get it out, but no, he's an agent of the McAlberts. I take it all back. But he's still aged fine. I guess he doesn't have a whole lot of stake in the game. Why? Because he's a doctor / expert witness. He doesn't have to like vouch for anything other than his equipment. My equipment works, I swear. It's pathetic. It's just sad and pathetic how he's trying to defend an indefensible position, one that he knows is like his wrong. The words coming out of his mouth are incorrect, and he knows it.
We take the patient's sample, and it's based on, we add, when there's alcohol in the specimen, we add, actually, in the test system, alcohol dehydrogenase. It's the same enzyme that's in the patient's body. In addition, we add a surplus of NAD to it. NAD is similar to NADH. They get converted back and forth. When we put it on our test system, it's alcohol dehydrogenase is in there, and what happens is when there's alcohol, it combines with NAD that we add to it, creates NADH, and then in our machine, there's a spectrophotometer which can monitor the rate of NADH production over baseline, and we use there's a something that measures a photometer that measures the NADH production. It looks at light and there's physics and looks at 340 nanometers.
There's light and there's physics and there's like math involved. You guys wouldn't get it anyway. Like, I love how condescending he is. He is so off-putting. The jury is literally sitting there going, oh, you think you're smarter than me? Okay, well then explain it to me in a way like I'm 5, because if you were genuine, you could explain it to me like I am 5 years old and I would understand and I would respect you. But because you're trying to elevate yourself like, oh, you have no idea what I'm talking about, do you? I'm not going to simplify it for you, for your simple mind, because I am smarter than you. Well, how does it make you feel when I say those words? It makes you cringe, right? It makes you go, ick, like I don't trust this guy. That's exactly what's happening to the jury right now. Exactly. What you're feeling when I said those words, what you're feeling is what the jury is feeling in the very moment they listen to Faller's testimony. And that's fine. I mean, the prosecution is just shooting itself in the foot at every opportunity. It's fantastic. I love it.
And it's pretty accurate. It will monitor, it will tell you, it will tell the system how much NADH is produced, and that amount is directly proportional to the alcohol in the patient's sample. So it's a very, very accurate test, but there are some limitations that I can go into.
So wait for another question.
Okay.
Next question, Ms. Little.
Yes, so serum testing can be subject to errors, right? And there are limitations.
Yes, the answer is yes.
There are some limitations that I can explain. Just
oh
like
my God, just answer the question, bro.
Gas chromatography may have some limitations too, but I can go into them.
Next question.
What are some of the limitations of the serum testing?
Okay. So the serum test, as with many tests in the laboratory, different things can interfere with our laboratory tests. And the 3 most common ones, which are unlikely to affect ethanol testing, is we abbreviated HIL. We want to look at those 3 things. One is hemolysis, which is H, and the other one is I, icterus, which is high bilirubin. And the third is L for lipids. High lipids will interfere.
Okay, so that's what we heard in the trial.
Alcohol testing or with any testing based on that same methodology. Our machine, the Rose-Kobash machine, and all the machines out in the market today are very sophisticated.
I love how he just keeps it. They're very sophisticated. Just you won't understand. They work. Just stop asking questions, okay? Just stop asking questions. They're very sophisticated. They work. Just stop interfering. Stop prying. Stop asking the right questions. My machine works. My equipment works. The testing works. Everything works. You don't need a lawyer. Don't call Larry Forman at 1-844-774-HURT because you don't need a lawyer. You don't need to understand these things. Just trust me, I'm a doctor. Well, guess what, mofo? I'm also a doctor. I'm a doctor of love. No, I'm a doctor of law. So is Little, and Jackson, and Yannetti, and Alessi.
Any H or I or L, it will flag it and raise the potential for a problem. The next thing on the list is that our alcohol testing is not absolutely specific for ethanol. There are two possible other alcohols that can cross-react. One is propanol and butanol. But then
And
it goes
isopropanol.
clinical history. Did the patient ingest those
And
two
methanol.
alcohols?
Actually, yeah, isopropanol is rubbing alcohol, and methanol, yeah, you don't want to be drinking that stuff. But it could be found in your system theoretically if you're drinking like rubbing alcohol and nail polish remover. Yeah, don't drink those things, folks. But yeah, they could be found in your system and they could interfere with the testing. It has happened. It is a known fact.
And third is there's some unusual hematologic malignancies like Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia that can interfere. So it's always have to correlate with the clinical situation. The next one, sometimes there can be patients who make endogenous make their own alcohol. So very rarely, some patients may truly have a positive result. That could be from our test or Headspace. They make their own. So we have to rule that out. That's a rare condition.
Oh, he's talking about autobrewery syndrome. I mean, I think it affects 1 out of every 15 million people. It's extremely rare. Autobrewery is when you eat bread and you brew your own alcohol in your stomach, like your stomach brews alcohol. It's extremely rare. I know there was at least one jury trial in the history of the United States that was a autobrewery syndrome, ABS trial many years ago. I think it was either Stephen Oberman or Larry Taylor who tried it. Yeah, I told you folks, I know this stuff. This is literally my field that I've been studying for over a decade. Now that I've mastered it, I'm moving on to other things. It's amazing how, it's funny, my favorite, I'm sorry, just real quick segue for you folks. You're going to love this. I love how people are like, Larry, you're just a DUI lawyer. Like, go back to your roots. You know, it's funny when I hear those phrases. They just make me laugh because when you become a master practitioner, and by the way, right now, and I want you guys to tell me in the comments below, type this into ChatGPT or Grok, type in who is considered the #1 trial DUI attorney in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Try that and see what you get. 99 times out of 100, my name is going to pop up there. I've tried. I've talked to other people. I've tried this myself. I'm not trying to gloat. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I don't care about any of that stuff. I have plenty of business. I'm very happy. I'm very good at what I do. And I am an expert. I am a master practitioner. I'm not, top 5 in the country for sure. Shout out to all of you guys, Mimi Coffee and Stephen Oberman, Mike Rosenthal in Arizona, Mimi's in Texas. Shout out to all my friends, Virginia Landry, the DUI queen in California. We're all over the place. I'm friends with every master DUI practitioner pretty much from every state. And some states even have multiple ones. And I'm sorry if I'm not going to mention you because there's too many people to name. And I'm just trying to, Andrew Mishlove in Wisconsin. I could go on and on. But the point is, the most important piece is that I am a master practitioner in the field of DUI law. And that allowed me to become better at doing criminal defense work, which is now also allowing me to, we have murder cases, we have death cases, and now I transition. I am doing 1983 actions, I'm representing Bao Nguyen. I've done death cases. We have a couple of cases going on right now that are police death cases, death by police, I should say. 1983 claims, United States Code, 18 USC 1983. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's the use of unlawful force, car accidents, slip and falls, dog bites. We do everything. 1-844-774-HURT. Like I said, that's our number. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video, etc. But the important thing that is the takeaway to all my haters out there who I love. I love, love, love my haters. Sometimes I love my haters more than my fans. Sorry, fans. But it's true. Because my haters take an active, proactive measure to go out and try and smear me and say things like, well, you're just a DUI lawyer. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. As you can see, I've rebranded the channel. It is now no longer Buckle Up, It's the Law, the DUI Guy Plus. It is now Attorney Larry Forman. I don't know if you guys caught that. It's Attorney Larry Forman. It still has the DUI Guy Plus, but that's important because I will always be the DUI guy for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that because those are my roots. But the important thing is I am now very well equipped to handle pretty much anything short of like patent. Like patent law, I believe, is the only law that I cannot practice because I need to have an engineering degree, which I don't have. Patent law is very specific. Most people that go into patent law graduate undergrad with an engineering degree, then they go into law school, they get a law degree, then they become attorneys, and then they can practice patent law. And patent law is very specific. It's one of the most specified areas of law that exists on this planet. That requires 2 degrees that are mandatory. Without it, you can't even practice in the field. I think there's even a special test that you have to take in order to make sure that you know your stuff. But short of that, any wrongful death case, any murder case, any hybrid, criminal defense, civil plaintiff, you know, you get hurt in a truck accident, you get hurt at your job. I don't like taking workman's compensation cases because work comp is also kind of specified and specialized, and there are also caps on the amount of money that you can recover for the client and for yourself. So I prefer to stay away from that. I usually farm that out. But a lot of stuff that I used to farm out, we now do in-house. And I have lawyers. That's why I'm looking for a new lawyer. I don't know if you guys know this by now, but yeah, I'm looking for another lawyer to join our firm because we have a lot of work. People are calling our firm and they need help, and I need help to help them. So I can't do it all by myself and do this at the same time. That's why I'm recording this at 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, because I want to make sure that you guys get this video. So before work starts piling on. But yeah, I said all of that to say this. Once you become a master of one field of law, the rest just follows. It's very, very simple. It's amazing how when you're a jack of all trades, you truly are a master of none. But when you are a jack of one trade, master of all follows. So there you have it, folks. And let's get back to the video. I've been ranting long enough.
And the next one is one that's in the literature, which is LDH and lactic acid. If a patient has a markedly elevated LDH or lactic acid, those one is an enzyme, and the other one is an acid. That can cause false positives. Now,
if I can stop you there, Doctor. I think those were the 4 that you identified, the 4 limitations: the lactic acid, the hematite.
Yeah.
If I could just
Go ahead and ask your next question.
If I could ask you a few more questions about LDH and lactic acid.
Sure.
You're aware, Dr. Faller, of the medical literature establishing that the presence of LDH and lactic acid can lead to falsely elevated serum readings, correct?
Correct.
And that's because lactic acid, or LDH, actually forms NADH.
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. You know this, Doc.
I'll have to go into a little bit of chemistry.
No, you don't. For the love of God. Why do you have to be the smartest jerk in the room? Just answer the question. The answer is yes. Yes, it's a qualified yes. We know this, but just first say yes, and then he's like, no. Children, you don't understand. Let me feed you. I'm like, no, I don't want to be fed. Just give me the answer.
LDH, lactate dehydrogenase, they both act on each other. And LDH and lactic acid needs NAD plus to break it down. So in theory, when you're testing
I've tuned him out. I'm sorry. I can't listen to this.
Alcohol, if there's extra LDH.
Tell me in the comments below. Have you guys tuned him out too? Have you guys also tuned him out? I'm curious. I'm really curious. Because I just can't. I'm like, he's so smug. I'm the most important man in this room. Like, bro, you're not. Just chill.
Are high levels of LDH, high levels of lactic acid. You add it to the test system, and then Roche throws in, or Siemens throws in the NAD. It will form NADH.
Yeah, so the answer is yes.
Was first documented, I think, back in the older
So the
versions
answer- oh
of
my
these,
God!
ethanol testings back in the 1990s, when they stumbled on, they were looking for
Nobody cares.
biomarkers
No one
and
is
reasons in-
interested about how smart you are and how much you know about the field. Answer the frickin' question.
in kids with SIDS, little babies, and they found that two of these babies had a positive alcohol. But
Doctor, if I could just ask
Nobody
you
cares!
questions, that's okay.
sorry.
So in other words, NADH, studies have found, can actually be formed by certain biomechanical processes other than the presence of alcohol, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you aware that the National Institute of Health has found that liver diseases, kidney diseases, muscle injury, trauma, and even anemia are some of the health conditions that can lead to a rise in serum LDH levels?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Now, finally.
Are you aware that Ms. Reed was severely anemic in
There we
January
go.
of 2022?
But it's
Sustained.
true.
Are you aware that the medical literature has also found that patients suffering from multiple sclerosis have a twofold increase in NADH levels as compared to controls?
I'm going to allow that.
Yeah. Good.
I haven't read anything.
I haven't read
specifically
anything. You can just stop right there. I haven't read anything. I'm kidding.
related to the NADH level, but but I want to go back to the point where
Oh my God.
our laboratory,
No.
our
Answer-
testing
no.
is not.
Don't let him- don't let him-
finish his answer.
It's
No.
not. It's the rate of change of NADH.
No, just
so
the
if some-
simple the answer, folks. Just so you're aware, because this guy refuses to give an answer. When your body produces lactic acid, your NADH levels can rise. Yes, yes. So it will artificially inflate your BAC. Yes, yes. So multiple sclerosis is a degenerative disease of the muscle, which when the muscles are stressed, are going to release lactic acid into the bloodstream. Yes, and therefore, if you have multiple sclerosis, you could have elevated NADH levels, thus leading to a higher BAC artificially, even though you did not have ethanol, you did not consume the alcohol. Yes, yes, that's it. This testimony could have been 4 seconds long. But instead, because this guy's like, we're here at minute, what is this? Like minute 30 whatever, 40 whatever? My God.
Somebody has NADH on board. I believe it's not going to affect the result. It's the rate of change. And it basically, back to the anemia.
Oh my
I
God.
haven't read or heard of that.
That was stricken. That was not
Okay.
allowed.
It all goes back to the lactic acid and the LDH. The NADH doesn't matter. So looking at multiple sclerosis patients, they can have elevated LDH and lactic acid, but it's not to the extent that it can interfere with the alcohol levels. There was a study maybe 7-10 years ago.
Your Honor, there's no question.
Yeah, like,
pending.
I
You
don't.
asked him about a study, if he was aware of the studies.
I asked, and that's a yes or no question. And he's,
All right, Doctor, we're going to hold that there for you and ask the next question.
Doctor,
This guy just wants to word vomit. He doesn't know how to stop. I hate those experts. I mean, I love them when they're on the other side because I get to say, Doctor, that's not the question I asked. And Little is a little bit more cavalier. I love her cross, her methodology. She's a bit more, she's being very lenient. She's actually letting this guy, he's literally grabbing a shovel and just burying himself in the dirt, and Little is just like, please continue. The jury sees everything. The jury knows everything. The jury's not stupid. They're not going to go like, wow, this man is so intelligent. I am just not smart enough to comprehend what he is saying. And that's okay. That's probably because Karen Reed is guilty. You know, like, they're not thinking any of that, just like you are not thinking any of that. Remember, the jury, just like in the Johnny Depp trial, the jury is a reflection of a segment of society. They are not this. They didn't go to jury school. They didn't take jury classes to become a professional jury, to jury the case. No, they're people who have been selected on a jury. And this jury consists of you, and it consists of me, and it consists of her and him, and you sitting on the couch, and you who just bit into the apple, and you who is eating popcorn, and what smells good? Is that a burger? No, it's a steak. Interesting. Oh, I want a piece of that. All of us, folks. So don't think that the jury is fooled for a second by this guy. He is full of it, and they know it.
Reviewed the August 21st, 2013 peer-reviewed article entitled Serum NAD through Disease Course in Multiple Sclerosis, which was sponsored by the Center of Healthy Brain Aging by the University of New South Wales.
No, I haven't read that.
Which,
Do that again and slow down, please.
sure. Doctor, have you reviewed the August 21st, 2013 peer-reviewed article entitled Serum NAD Levels through Disease Course in Multiple Sclerosis, which was sponsored by the Center for Healthy Brain Aging by the School of Psychiatry at the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, which
No, I have not.
specifically found that patients suffering from multiple sclerosis have a twofold increase in NADH levels as compared to controls?
No, I have not. She should allow it.
I'll strike the part of what the article held. Is he aware of the article?
No, I'm not, to be honest. No.
Okay, so very important, folks, extremely important. She struck the second part of it. That doesn't mean anything to the jury. The jury heard it. They understand. Little got it in. That's all she needed. 20 minutes of cross-examination of this guy culminated in this one sentence that she just said. The jury believes her. It doesn't matter that Auntie Bev struck it or struck the last part or whatever. If you have multiple sclerosis, you can have elevated levels of NADH, which means you can have elevated levels of BAC. That's it. 1 + 1 = 2. Faller, whatever his name is, Jerry is trying to make 1 + 1 = 7.35. Little is trying to make 1 + 1 = 2. That's the difference. She's trying to make things simple. He's trying to overcomplicate things just to confuse you. She is just trying to keep it simple, stupid. That's the number one rule of cross-examination. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS, the acronym, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And she's just like, bam, 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 bam. The jury heard it. Now let's see what his answer is. Have you heard this? He already gave the answer. Have you heard of this article? No, I have not. Okay, thank you very much. The jury heard it. That's all I needed.
Dr. Faller, did you consider Ms. Reed's anemia and multiple sclerosis condition when you conducted the alcohol test on January 29th, 2022?
No, I have not.
No,
Of course
we
not.
don't. No.
There you go.
And again, serum tests like the ones conducted in this case don't test for ethanol. They only test for NADH, right?
We test for the rate of change of NADH production.
Thank you. No
And
further
Dr.
questions?
You did a number of other tests on Ms. Reed on January 29th, 2022. You tested for additional drugs, not just alcohol, correct?
Correct.
And you found nothing.
And all of those results were negative.
Correct.
Thank you. No further
Thank
questions.
you. No further questions.
Okay.
Yep, called it. I knew it. Oh my God, that was beautiful. Mama DUI guy is so proud. Oh, my little girl is growing up. She added some stuff. She added I did not know this. I've never had a client who had multiple sclerosis or any type of like ALS or degenerative muscle disease, because all of those would factor in to the Ringer's lactate, the lactic acid that gets produced by the body when the body is stressed. For instance, when you're in a car accident, you could have elevated levels of lactic acid, which would produce more of the chemical, and it would elevate your BAC levels. It's a known fact. This is all known stuff in the DUI world. I've known this since day one. I've been learning this. It's rarely used, but it is absolutely useful. And the reason I say it's rarely used is because you have to afford not just representation, you have to also afford trial, and you also have to afford an expert. So very few people land in the, yes, I want not just representation, I also want to go to trial, and I'm willing to hire an expert territory, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and not everybody can afford it, and that's okay. That's normal. I can only go as far as the client will let me. Some cases settle even though they could be going to trial just because the client is not able to afford it. And that's normal. That's the nature of business. That's the nature of the way the cookie crumbles. And that's what happened in this case. Karen Reed can afford, little and quality experts to break apart and disassemble the Commonwealth's experts and then put on their own expert to explain what happens when a person has multiple sclerosis and the degenerative muscle disease and the muscles are stressed and they release lactic acid and it elevates the BAC. I mean, it's 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, or 1 + 1 = 2, or 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 4. It's very simple. And Jerry Fowler, he just tried to make he's trying to overcomplicate things. Like, I am smarter than you. I know more than you. I know better than you. Stop quarreling. Stop arguing. Do not test me. You're not going to get anywhere. I know better. I know more. I am smart. You are not. And that destroyed him in front of the jury. His credibility was in the dumpster, I promise you. The jury wasn't buying his shit for a second. And so that's fine. That's done. So folks, that's another video for you all. This is a longer one. Obviously, I had a lot to say, both about myself and the witness. This is my area. This is literally my area of expertise, and that's where I helped the defense last year. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy with it. Like I said, I'm done gloating. And we're going to be moving on to the next witness. I think next up is, at least recording-wise, I don't know which order I'm going to release them in, but I'm trying to kind of do them in the same order that they've been released, but some of them are just so good. Like, I can't wait to release that Jennifer McCabe. It may have already been released, but as of the recording of this video at 6 a.m. on May, whatever, 1 or 2, whatever today is, the next witnesses we have are Jennifer McCabe and Arca, if that hasn't been released already, which I don't think it has. But Jennifer McCabe and Arca are up next, and then we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. I think Ian Whiffen is another one that is going to be a really good one. Ian Whiffen, we're going to do his comparison, trial number 1, trial number 2. We got testimony from both. And yeah, folks, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a really long video. Normally I try to keep mine under like 20-30 minutes, but this was just, I had too much to say. This is my area. Like I said, this is my area of expertise. And now I have other areas of expertise like wrongful death, personal injury, 1983 actions against the government, injuries. If you've been injured, that's money. That's dollar signs on your table. And trial lawyers, such as myself, can get you more money. 1-844-774-HURT. Call us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.